Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us for this special live session. I'm Itzik Amiel, and we are here with this weekly switch series called Switch It On, where we share ideas, insights, and inspiration, helping you as a professional to switch relationships to revenue, referrals, and reputation and stand out. And you're definitely invited. So if you're watching now, it is live, and you've definitely watched and you want to join us, right? And again, type in the chat who you are, where you're dialing from, so I can share it with all the network. Not only me need to know, but all of us who are joining us from around the world. Again, would like to know that. To remind you all again, every strategy or solution I share in this episode and all the other episodes, we can help you get much more out of it by advising your firm, mentor you or your group of partners in your firm and your colleagues, and even execute it for you with our done for you services. So never be shy to ask any question you have and get connected. Let me add value to your practice, to your organization, to your career. Okay, I hope that's a deal already from the beginning of this session, as always. And today we're going to talking about preventing losing client, and specifically about how can you prevent client from leaving your firm and retain them for a longer term. One of the biggest problems of many law firms, and I wanted to offer some advice in that regard. Again, feel free to put in the chat who you are, where you're dialing from. Even if you're watching the replay afterward, do that because I'm reading every comment and I'll be happy to connect with you. Let me quote something I heard recently. We just received the termination notice, but they didn't even go through our new proposal for the company. This is a statement I really got, or I heard actually, during a recent meeting with one of the partners of a law firm I mentor. Now, my client firm had just lost a highly desirable client, and no one saw it coming. Crazy, right? Unfortunately, sometimes relationships with clients end without any clear reasons. They might stop working with you without even explaining why. And it can make it seem like the breakup was because of things you couldn't change. But you never want to have a client relationship end unintentionally and without a sound reason, right? I hope it's also for you true. Now, with this in mind, you need to think together with me what strategies can help ensure the relationship between client and your firm is both retained and improved. So I decided in this episode to think of all the common reason we as professionals lose clients and offer you some practical solutions how to prevent it in advance. And I hope that will add a lot of value to a lot of you who by the end of this year will make sure you retain your client for a longer term. So let me first thank you for joining me, and I would like to start right soon. Again, let me thank everybody joining. Meantime, Diana, Sandra, David, Alex, Moreno, Doveli, Rav Jeff, Duval, Mekio, Andriano, Toveni, Bandrom, David, Shalom, Messina, Akia, Ornodi, Karane. I see a lot of names. I hope I pronounce all of them correctly, but thank you for joining me. And let me go a bit deeper to share more about what I talk about. I'm speaking about preventing losing client. I'm about to share with you the first reason why you may lose a client in your practice. So I hope you guess it, but one of the first reasons we're losing client, and I don't necessarily put it in the right order of significance, but I think it's the order of things that come to mind, and I think based on practicalities working with many clients, the first reason is client reorganization. Clients reorganization. Does it sound familiar to any of you? One of my client, a mentor, told me for a long time I built a connection with the head of legal department of the company. But unfortunately, she had to leave during a reorganization. Now the new head of legal has ties with one of their competitors, and they're bringing them on board. So first, reorganization and turnover also of senior people in it's actually in the company of your client, it's a fact of life, right? And we need to get used to it. It happens everywhere. But here how to make the best of this situation. I want you to connect with multiple people at your key client's firm. Because relying on just one person put you at risk. Because if they leave, you also lost the client. Both the client And also within your team, you want to have at least more than one connection. So not only you will be connected with them, but many other people from your team. You should establish a connection with a higher up executive of the company. So not only with your people you're speaking to, with other people as well, because it's invaluable during uncertain times. And make sure your contributions are recognized and valued by the whole client organization, by the different people you have connection with. And more employees should be familiar with you and your firm work. That's how you prevent if somebody leaves, you still have in touch. Now try to get support from the departing executive, the person you had in touch and connection, to give you credit of the work you did for them and with them, and to introduce you to their replacement before they leave. Important fact, many people forget, and when they left, that's too late. Okay. The next common reason for losing client is number two is occasional or short-term service request. Again, occasional or short-term service request. What is that about? But before I go deeper again, I want to thank you all of you joining and asking again if it's live. It is live. I'm here live and I'm sharing with you. So just join. It doesn't take so long. Just a few more minutes of your time, getting you a lot more insight. Again, if you have any questions during the session, please feel free also to type it in under the video you're watching in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer it here or personally to you. We're speaking about preventing losing client. I just shared the first reason, which is client reorganization, and I'm going to talk about the next reason. Number two, occasional or short-term service request. See, sometimes clients only have a periodic need for what you do, only for a short term. Clients only need your help occasionally. So, for instance, a company might hire an event organizer only once a year when they organize the company annual event. See, similarly, a company may seek a law firm or lawyer services solely when they're acquiring maybe or a merger with a local company in your jurisdiction. So it's very occasionally work you have with them. So in order not to lose them, what can you do about it? The first and the most important thing you need to do is develop additional services that meet recurring needs of your clients. Ask yourself, what other ongoing needs can we help this client with? They have many needs, not only the services you're giving them right now, maybe they have other needs you can give. So, for example, you also can offer this company that acquire a local company, not only the M&A services, maybe also your employment services or maybe your tax services, because that's also beneficial when acquiring a local company. Secondly, it's really crucial to offer value during quieter period between the big project you have with them, these occasional needs. Because when you do give them value, you keep yourself top of mind. And being seen as a trusted advisor matters in both those timing and challenging times you have, whether you're actively working or during a slower period of your relationship. And thirdly, I would say, when your services are seldom used by this client, I want you to aim to gather referrals and testimonials from every client you work with, because that's also valuable to get you additional client to join on. So for this scenario specifically, those references you're going to get from this client will significantly boost your efforts to differentiate your firm. And again, that's what will help you get more clients and help you in a growth. Okay? So that's the second reason why you're losing client and my solution for it. Next reason, I hope you, by the way, you're ready for when you hear more reasons. Reason number three for losing client is what we call client fatigue. Client fatigue. I'm sure many of you experience this scenario. See, at times, a client relationship might flourish for a couple of good years, but then start fading. It could be that the client is simply getting tired of the relationship with your firm, or maybe feels they enhance their own abilities enough to reduce their reliance on your services, or at least not as frequently as they used it before. So in order not to lose this client, what I suggest to do in this situation, keep your long-time clients feeling as valued as new ones. Don't forget them. Here's what you can do. Approach every meeting with your clients, even if it's your 50 meeting with them, I don't care, with the same energy, with the fresh ideas, with enthusiasm. as you did during your first meeting with them. Remember, consistently demonstrating value and high return to investment is very crucial to every client if you don't want those relationship or the work fade with them. And even if you think the client is satisfied with what you offer, never assume they'll automatically renew your agreement with them, etc. Continuously working to provide your worth is key with every single client if you don't want to get client fatigue, if you don't want the client to fade the relationship away from you. Okay? Thanks a lot for all of you joining there again. I'm continuing speaking about preventing losing client. And if you are with me, we're coming to reason number 4 of losing client. Reason number 4 for losing client is a lack of budget for your services. Now I know a lot of you smiling there because you are familiar with it, right? You know, a lawyer client of mine provided legal services to a large multinational client. And I remember my discussion with her. This client grew and grew, and eventually it's accounted for about 75% of the revenue of her practice with this specific client. And then, right after the Corona period, the company decided to enlarge their own legal department and decided not to renew the retaining agreement they had with a lawyer client of mine. See, I remember she said something like, they said to her, "We don't have a budget for your retainer legal services anymore." And that's it. That's how they ended. Maybe it's a familiar scenario to some of you. Sad. And I saw it happen to many of you as well. In fact, as I shared it with my client, I do not think the reason she lost this company was because they don't have the money to pay her. I don't think so. What they really decided is that getting legal help for my client or from the external lawyer is not a priority given their limited financial resources. That's actually the decision. But here's the reality. The client who claims they cannot afford to continue with your services might be spending on various other things right now, some of which they probably could be ineffective, offering low return. They might be investing in unproductive projects or underperforming senior employees or extra office space or sponsoring irrelevant events or kind of awards and more. So here's your real challenge in this case. Your challenge is to demonstrate why your services should attract scarce budget, right? So how do you do this? So here's my recommendation to prevent it from happening to you and losing client because of these budget excuses. First, demonstrate your contribution to client growth, the client profit, to their innovation, showing that you're more than just a cost. They need to see you as a valuable asset. Connect what you do directly to their top goals, and then they see your value. Second, consistently communicate this value and really show them the impact of your work on them, on your client. And number 3, ensure you spend enough time with executive in the company to truly understand their priorities and what matters most to them. Only then you'll be able to be added value to them. Got it? I hope that's enters somewhere and you can put it in your agenda for the coming year to work on it. Ready for the next reason that I want to share with you today? Why you're losing client and what's my solution? So next reason is number 5. A lack of impact and benefits of your services. A lack of impact and benefits of your services. And if you have a question, by the way, type it in the chat under the video. I'll be happy to answer during the session or afterward. But Bill, type your ask your question because I do the session for you to share the knowledge with you. Now I can imagine what this reason for losing client make you feel, right? If I talk about a lack of impact of benefits of your services, I can think what you're thinking about. Because in many cases, out of my experience with many law firms I train, mentor, this reason often leads to the feeling that you aren't needed on an ongoing basis, which should not be the case, and it is not necessarily reflect the reality. And it's true what I'm saying to you now. Assuming you are delivering good quality services, why would your client feel that what you're doing and your services lack impact or or benefit for them. So here are some possibilities, and how can you can deal with these and prevent that this feeling to happen to you and losing clients. You need to convey more effectively, and as I mentioned before, the value. Your presence in the organization is too limited. You need to be working on a higher level in the client's company and stop keeping your services hidden. There's no reason to hide it. If you add value to them, they need to know about it. Now, you haven't illustrated how you can contribute to the top goals or priorities. So you need to pay attention to it and work on ways to emphasize your value on consistent basis. Your work meets the standard but doesn't stand out as really exceptional. There is no what we call the wow factor. The client sees your services as really as solving a minor issue or relatively insignificant problem. So you need to go and correct it. That's it. And when you do that, then they don't think there's a lack of impact of the benefit of your services. They see very vividly how you are exceptional, added value to them on a regular basis. And that brings me right away to the next reason of losing client. Number 6, which is quality or delivery issues. And it's sad, but it is true. Quality or delivery issues can be a big obstacles of maintaining client, retaining client, and you may lose a client because of that. So first question I want to answer, what does it mean lack of quality of your services? So first it means actual quality. Have you provided, by objective standards of course, a truly high quality professional services? Second, when we talk about quality, we talk about expected quality. You can do a great job. So even if you believe your client expectations are unreasonable, failing to meet them can leave your client very disappointed, despite your best efforts. And number 3, perceived quality. That's another inequality. Your clients, based maybe on market perception, perceived your professional services to be lacking. So what can you do, you're asking? To help bolster your client verdict on the quality of your work, think about these strategies. 1, implement robust quality control measures. Not many firms are doing it. Do it yourself. Set clear expectation as the project commences. And I want you to also elevate your client perception of your work quality and effectiveness. Now, if you want to know more about it, how you do it, etc., how to achieve each of these strategies, in order to make not the long short session here, send me an email. I'll be happy to chat with you, and I'll be happy to help and share with you how you can do it. Okay, but remember, you have to show that you have a quality services in all 3 levels, because otherwise their brain, their thinking, they perceive you're lacking quality, and then you're gonna lose this client. Ready for the next reason? I have a few more, so stay with me, and we're doing it again. Number 7, negative personal report. Negative personal report, absolutely a good reason to lose client. I never forget something a managing director of a law firm told me after hiring me to training his partner. He said, in his words, I simply like you and your personality, but the previous person we used was very smart and experienced and consultant, but he was arrogant and did not treat our peoples well. That's what I was told. See, likability and personal chemistry count a lot for client retention. So please do not underestimate it. You can enhance your personal report, and I teach it a lot, and you can really enhance your chemistry with your client through some very simple steps. I refer to simple adjustment. So, for example, adjusting your listening skills. And many of the skills that I call human-centered skills that I teach on regular basis firms, because if you do that, you're not going to have the negative personal report, and you can maintain and retain your client for a long time. So this is a little bit, again, if you have any question here and you want to really dive more on the specific reason, of course, you're very welcome to ask your question right now or send me a message. You want another reason and solution for losing clients? Say it is. Number 8, for losing client, unfortunately, some of us forget, is decline in Trust. A decline in trust. Let me explain. To understand how this can happen, I hope you agree that there are several factors influence a client willingness to trust you and to trust your services. One of them is their perception of the risk of trusting you. And really the amount of FaceTime they had with you. The more FaceTime, probably they trust you even better. See, you rarely trust someone you haven't spent time with, correct? It takes time to build those relationships. Do you agree? This is how human nature, nothing to do about it. But usually, I think a decline in trust is precipitated by a feeling that you no longer care as much as you used to. And the work you're doing is not as sharp as it was before. So keep elevating your trust with your clients by investing more in this relationship. You need to do it. Because if you won't do it, naturally, trust will go down. And with that, they're going to leave you. And this many times people take it for granted. Investing by those factors, the human centered skills, would elevate your relationship, will get you deeper trust for a longer term. And again, you retain and maintain your client for a longer term. And if you're still hanging with me, and I hope you're enjoying it, I have another reason to teach you and why you're losing client and give you some solutions. So the last reason I want to share with you today for losing client is number 9, and that's being too comfortable or settling. Being too comfortable or settling. Let me explain that one, okay? This is probably the reason many relationships end. Professional is also personal, by the way. One side takes the other for granted, or both simply stop caring the way they did at the beginning of the relationship. Maybe it sounds familiar to some of you. See, complacency is the enemy of the successful professional. You enjoy your work, you have good client, you make good money. So why try harder? Right? It happens all the times. When that happens, it's time to shake yourself up. The solution is to treat old clients like brand new clients. That's the way to do it. And if you do it, you fall in love again, you invest more time, and guess what? You won't be uncomfortable in this relationship. Because comfortable relationship get boring, and for business wise, you're gonna lose those clients. So you want to prevent it in advance. Here's one of the best pieces of advice I share with all the firms I work with. Regularly review your client base. Regularly review your client base. Every year, take a close look, and that's a good time, by the way, now to do it. Take a close look at your clients and ask yourself, which client keep you up at night? And which one gets you excited about the work? You wake up every morning, you want to work with. Are there any client at risk of leaving for the reason I outlined today, one of the 9 reasons? Are you becoming too comfortable with valuable client? Why might that be happening? How might competitors try to win over your clients? Because they're working hard to get them. What are they doing? Keep in mind the 9 reasons I share with you. I promise you, these are the majority of the reasons that I hear from all the firms that I mentor and all the lawyers I help and accountants. And in this episode, I share with you 9 of them. Reasons clients may leave you and also what you can do about it. Sometimes it's inevitable that relationship ends, but there is a lot you can do to counter each of these challenges. So now is your turn, my friend. First, if you have any question, now is your time to ask it, and I'll be happy to answer right away. And for sure, what I suggest, go implement everything you learned in this lesson and start one by one to see all those reasons and see if it works for you. And of course, if you need any help in implementing it in your practice, or if you just want to learn how to build your authority in your field, to build better relationship and referrals to your practice, is exactly what we do for our clients. Professionals like you and me around the world, we train them, mentor them, and even doing the work for them by implementing the strategies in your practice, including the strategies shared with you today. So I suggest if you want to learn more, send me an email or private message to see how can I help. I will emphasize I have only 2 places left for this next period of the program, my mentoring program, which is brand new. If you want to be mentored, you're looking for somebody helping you, and I'm the right person for you, just go send me an email. Let's jump on the call. I have two last places and then it's closed. So please do me a favor if you're interested. Be proactive, do it. Next week, we have another top amazing expert to discuss a new practical strategy to grow your practice and build better relationship, reputation, and referrals. If you want to make sure you never miss one of our weekly Switch on interview series, follow me on LinkedIn or go to the Switch Hub website and you can sign it up. And let me give you or share with you the link so that you ask me. So I'll give you the link right away. It is is the hub.theswitch.ch, hub.theswitch.ch. And that's where you can sign up and get my business development strategies and tips and check and register to one of my new online courses and more coming in, a live workshop, or join the Switch membership community if you go to the hub.theswitch slash join up, hub.theswitch.ch slash join us. That's our Switch membership community from all over the world. People, professionals like you, want to learn more how to grow the practice and brand. I share 4 deliveries every month, and you want to get a hold of them. So that's how to get them. And you're very welcome again to send me any private message or email to ask your question and see how it can be out of value. Again, I get a lot of those questions, so be comfortable to send them, and I'll definitely answer each one of them and add value to you in your practice. For now, I want to thank each one of you, and I don't see any question coming. I'm waiting to get them, but if there's no question, I guess all you digesting, all everything is clear. So I want to thank each one of you for joining us, for being with us here. Thank you for that. Next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Central European Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time, we have a next episode. But now I want you to switch on and prevent losing client and leaving your firm starting right now. Bye for now, everybody. Thanks for joining me.